welcome to Les Vallons de Foufresque. I thought, so Colossal is the movie I'm editing right now, and you can see it, I guess, here. I'm about to edit that episode, which is supposed to be released on the 4th of March, because it also aligns with the 3rd anniversary of Legion M. Legion M, which is the company owned by fans, it's an entertainment company. The first project that they helped fund was so Colossal, this film, and they helped for the distribution. What they helped after that was Bad Samaritan with David Tennant, and the third one was Mandy, and we did an episode already. They helped in an earlier capacity, they helped in pre-production, whereas the first two projects were just like they just put money in. The following project, I think, is supposed to be the Jay and Silent Bob reboot. If you type Jay and Silent Bob reboot, Jay and Silent Bob reboot, and Legion M or something of that sort in Google and YouTube, you'll see all of that. And Field Guide to Evil, which is an anthology horror thingy that's supposed to come out soon. So today, as I said, is because I forgot to do it earlier, I have a microphone there, so yeah, that will help a lot for later. So yeah, I'm editing this. You can hear a bit of what it sounds like. Let me...
Hello everyone.
Bonjour.
That was very intensely said, Adam.
Hello.
Alright, mate.
I will do the episode in fluent French, Yann will do it in fluent Scots.
I'll do it in German.
German or Urdu.
No, that's not what we did. So this episode, we're trying to stay under the hour mark now, because that's 55 minutes is pretty much the fringe stage time. So when we finally manage to get our show into stage, it will be at that 55-minute, 1 hour mark, and we've been experimenting to keeping that time for a while now, except when we have guests. I hope you had the opportunity to listen to our Isolani episode, where we had the director, Paul Wilson, and Kate McLaughlin, the female lead, and also Catriona Evans, also female lead in there, and obviously we had the Anna and the Apocalypse, ATA Words and Tunes with Alan MacDonald, who is the co-writer, and Tommy Riley, who's the co-composer. And those two episodes were quite long, so yeah, we don't give ourselves any time limit when we have guests, because why? So basically, you should be seeing, hopefully, this video. I don't know, it's being filmed in 360 degrees. A new gadget that I've got for my birthday in advance, because I'm turning 40 on the 16th of April, which is a month away, more than a month away. And I thought, because I'm going back, so I'm right now, as you can see, in the vineyard. Gélule was Gélule, the dog. I'm right in the vineyard, you can see right now, and I'll go back actually on the 4th of March, when Colossal is being released, to Glasgow, where we record the podcast, and we will be doing some intense recording sessions because I have plenty of plans to travel and do stuff away from Glasgow for at least a month and a half. So we have to we have some advance right now. We recorded stuff, so we are safe up until mid-April, but still we need to be safe now up until mid-May. So we record a few more episodes to make sure you always have an episode a week. The exception was the one Colossal you're getting now was a bit more than a week, not last Friday, but Monday now, because to correspond to, as I said, to the third anniversary of Legion M. So we'd like to know how we do the podcast. I guess while I get my thoughts in order, you can see, and the rest of you can touch and see the 360 watch. There's a sailor's corner there, and you can see some of my mum's paintings and some sculptures in the thing there. And we even have the non-alcoholic beverages for kids in the fridge there behind me, kind of. So basically, how the podcast is made. So we made sure right away that we had an external independent recorder, which is and has always been the Zoom H6, which is a multi-track recorder with 4 individual tracks, and we can add 2 other ones, so we can go up to 6 with a special adapter that we have. And thanks to that adapter, we managed to actually record the Aslam episode. First time we had 3 guests, so that was 6 people. That's the core, kind of the brain of the podcast, this Zoom H6. Connected to those are microphones, 3 of them for the standard setup when we don't have any guests. We used to have dynamic cardioids, I don't remember much, but these were the ones that were picking up every noise in the room. So now we are more, we actually have some of the ones that are used by singers, so they're more, let me see, I don't know, they were not dynamic before, they were, I don't remember what they were, but now they're not picking up everything, so now we're good. So basically, we get all those tracks, we record the episode, while we are actually live streaming them for our patrons. Patreon.goodbadstandardpodcast.com is where you'll find all our latest news, always, all episodes streamed. We'll experiment, in addition to that, to also provide a 360 version of the episodes. That's why I got this, and also because I'm going to New York in a few weeks, so I'll be able to film some nice stuff, so I will experiment with that. So we record the episode, and we have some redundancies, like when we recorded Shine with Nicholas, a friend, usually it's better if the guests can record their own sound on their computers where they are. There was a bug on his side, so he apologized at the end. I was like, no, it's fine. I'm that paranoid that we had like two additional options, so everything went fine. But yeah, once all the tracks are in, they are all coming into the Zoom H6, so they're all synchronized, obviously. And then I use a software called this. I'm glad I found this in the early days of the podcast, because usually when you edit, you get all the tracks, you get a multi-track editing software, and you have to position everything so there's no overlap and everything. That's not how we do it, because we would not have time to do that with all our other stuff that we're doing. So the software called Ophonic Multitrack, which is originally a website who does that, who's doing this, but they also have 2 softwares available. I just dropped the tracks in that software, Ophonic Multitrack, and all the because the microphones we're using, they're not the same, so all the levels are, well, everything is leveled at the same level. The bleeding is removed. So bleeding is basically when you've got a microphone on the left, a microphone on the right, and obviously the microphone is speaking louder, the voice that is in front of it, but sometimes it also picks up bit of the voice of the other people talking, like a bit farther from it. So it leads to echoing a lot. So that software removes all of this. It also removes when the hum or the microphone hiss sometimes. So everything. So that's why even when sometimes we don't set up the microphones correctly, all of this hiss and weird sounds are removed. So except I think maybe when we had Maddie, because we used the software, it was distant, it didn't work properly, the sound was not extraordinary. But when we are in-house, or if you listen to the Star Trek episode with Bonnie, she's a voice-over actress, so she had the sound on her side, she shared it, and it was perfect sound. But we had nearly perfect sound on all episodes, so we're quite happy about that. Once I have this file, when it's just the three of us, see, it's a file, the 3 tracks are bundled, mixed into one, and then that's when I remove, we remove, depending on whose episode is dedicated to the editing, the way I do it, I'm not sure how Adam and Anouk are doing it, but how I do it is, it usually takes me twice as long as an episode duration to actually edit. So I'm usually, because sometimes we bump into microphones, so there are weird artifact sounds, so I remove those by going to take into the individual tracks and put it back, or sometimes the software, the mixing software does some weird stuff, so I also go back in the individual track. But mostly I remove, always for the audio, I remove when your mouth is a bit dry and you're about to engage to talk about something, there is this thing, this weird clicking sound that I remove always, because when you have our videos on our Patreon again, it's fine that it's there because you have the video, but if you only have the audio, it's distracting, and it might be hard on the ears, so I remove those. I remove some of the ahs and ums, being careful not to modify our speech patterns. I realized I was doing that in the first episode. I was like, oh, well, there's a subtle line to find. When we had Paul Wilson for the very first time, also a very long episode, we were happy, ecstatic. Our Magic is a documentary. He was breathing a lot. Like he was, you could hear it on the track. I was starting to try to remove some, but it was all the way through, so I just left it as it was, and it's a nice episode. It works nice. Funnily enough, in Iceland, I don't remember him breathing that much, so I don't know. Maybe he's I don't know. Once the episode is ready, so there is not that much room for error in the editing, because when you're doing a multi-track, you can always adjust and everything. But as I always have the individual tracks, I can go back, and so it's fine. But usually the point of having multiple tracks is you can play and do plenty of stuff, but it's way too long. We would need an editor probably. But yeah, once we have the file, we add our little 10-second section at the end, which is about pretty much explaining that people can review our show on iTunes, and there is this little Patreon thing going on that you can support us on. And YouTube is where you'll probably see this video, by the way. And for sure I'll be doing a lot of filming while I'm in New York, probably also in Morocco in a few weeks. In London, I'm not sure, but yeah, this 360, I never tried before, but this seems to be the camera I was looking for. So yeah, so that's the outro we had. We go back and add an intro, which I will have to record for this Colossal. I haven't done that yet, which basically explains, it's like a me to you kind of short, few words to explain what we're about to talk about. And usually it's in most podcasts, it's an intro talking about what happened, but it really depends really. Once this is done, publishing comes, and we publish it to Podbean, which is our main host, and then SoundCloud, and from those it goes everywhere, Spotify, everywhere. So we talked about a few times, and it actually never happened. We talked about it's not really related, but that we wanted to do a road trip from Glasgow to the vineyard here, where my mom's vineyard, where we are right now, or from the vineyard to Scotland, to have it as a nice podcasting team and flatmates thing to do for my 40th birthday. It's a bit more complicated, so basically it won't happen. It probably will happen in May, but they'll just fly in. We'll all fly in and fly back, but we'll have some time, like probably a week, and we'll most definitely record episodes here. And we have plenty of different nice places we can record and experiment and do stuff, so really excited about that. If when you go on Patreon again, so as I said, you get all the, you've got already plenty of stuff that are not released. We did some of the Oscars, like we talked about the favorite already, Bohemian Rhapsody. We did our our Fringe episode. All of those are already, the videos, the live streams are on Patreon, but they will be released gradually as podcasts, following the schedule that we have on our website, by the way. Is just www.goodbadstandardpodcast.com, and you've got everything in there. Basically, it's a page with all the episodes. If you scroll, we feature the most recent ones, but if you scroll, you've got everything. So very petite. The little dogs want to participate. So I hope you got some interesting stuff out of this, and don't hesitate to have a look. So my mom's vineyard, which is where we are right now, I talked about. I had few videos were made and are available on our channel. YouTube, you go type milk in a wine glass, and you'll see us right away. We have now more than 50 subscribers. Oh, it happened. So yeah, that's quite cool. And what I wanted to say. Yeah, if you go to so that's www.lvdf.fr. There is a little flag on the top, I think, British flag or American, or like a logo made out of both flags, I don't remember, where you click and you've got all the stuff in English, the info. To know a bit more, to go a bit more in depth, I invite you to go see our episode about a great year. I don't remember the title. Well, that's the episode. The title of the episode on YouTube is Shit-Faced Podcasting, I think it is. And yeah, we have 3 hours, and we are tasting my mom's wines. And my hand was a bit heavy in the glasses, so we're completely smashed. But that's an interesting episode, I think. So I'll leave you. That's almost 20 minutes. Jesus. I hope you browsed a bit in the. Anyway, thank you again for your attention. As I said, this video should go out as soon as possible. Probably at the same time as Colossal, I'm not sure. I'll be back in Glasgow for sure. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact us on. We're not Twitter. I personally have a weird love and hate. Well, more hate relation with Twitter relationship, but we are on there. The place where we are most responsive, I would say, is Instagram. So Good Bad Standard Podcast. Yeah, that's Instagram. We are just Good Bad Standard on Twitter. We have a Facebook page, obviously, and our website. You can even go. Probably the thing that I'm checking most these days is the website. So actually, if you go to goodbadstandardpodcast.com, you can leave your comments on each blog post for the episodes. And if you have questions, and if you want anything really, we are there, and we're still stoked that we are about to reach 20,000 listens or something. When, as always, we're saying that we were basically just expecting something like a man and his dog, and we have 5 patrons, and we're really excited about everything that happened so far, and some of the guests that we're planning. Yeah, we're really excited. I hope you will be too. So, as always, thank you for listening, and I was Yann. Bye-bye.